Welcome to the talk show, ABC Real Time. And today we have a very important discussion here regarding the politics, political parties, and leaderships, for which Bangladesh is trying for a long time. And to suit the very purpose, is we invited two new generation political leaders and one political scientist and another is a big shot political economist, basically economist. And viewers, you know very well that Bangladesh, since the independence, is suffering a lot for lack of leadership, politics, and political parties in power since the start. And let us discuss the matter and issues in depth. And here there is Dr. Joglul Haidar. He's a political scientist. He is from Canada.
Assalamu alaikum.
Dr. Joglul Haidar.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
Bobby Hajjaj. He is an Oxford scholar and the chairman of NDM, Bangladesh National Democratic Party.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
Thank you very much. And then Mr. A.R. Khan, President of Federal Democratic Party, Bangladesh.
Yes,
Dr. A.R.
okay.
Khan,
Walaikum
Well.
assalam.
and finally, I will move to a scholar who is known already to all, and he is an iconic economist and political analyst. He is Professor Dr. Showkat Ali. He is from America.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Well, let us start from political scientist Dr. Joglul Haidar. You know the very well about the point of discussion today: politics, political parties, and leadership. And as a political scientist, how do you define what is politics, particularly in Bangladesh context? Well,
Thank you, Honorable Moderator. It's a matter of high privilege and distinct honor for me to be with you here this morning in Canada. And thank you so much for inviting me to your prestigious talk show. Indeed, it is for me. It is a little bit difficult to define politics, leadership, and political parties because a chairperson of two political parties in Bangladesh are here with me. I believe that they will do their job, from their own perspectives. But as an academic, what I believe that political party is nothing but political parties are organized group of people aimed at capturing state power for the sake of national interest, for the betterment of the people. And this is what politics is. And we all are living in a political system and where political parties play a very important role as well as political leadership. You all know that as a student of political science and international relations or diplomacy, foreign policy, leadership quality is an important instrument of national power throughout the world. How developed a country is, how mature a country is, depends on the quality of its leadership. The quality of leadership of a country determines the quality of the nation, the quality of the diplomacy, the quality of the foreign policy, the quality of economy, everything. Leadership is very important as well as political party. In my view, Political parties, you know, work in a political system, and political system has got two aspects. One is input function, another is output function. Input functions, we see that one is called, the first function is for the political parties is political socialization and recruitment. Political parties socialize people before recruitment. They socialize through their aims, objectives, their principles. They provide literature, distribute literature among the you know masses, and the masses get trained and come to the politics. This is, I'm talking about ideal politics. And second function of a political party, interest articulation. Normally, interest articulation functions are done by pressure groups like associational groups, institutional groups, non-associational groups, and anomic groups. These are groups. Along with groups, political parties also does political articulation functions. They articulate the problem. What is the problem? What is the burning issue of the society that they will take it to the government? Right now, the burning issue is a non-party caretaker government. Our political parties are taking it to the government. They're trying to put pressure on the government to settle the matter, to make the demand, implemented. So then the third function is interest aggregation. So this is the important functions of political party. The interest aggregation. They take interest, they look at the interest of all pressure groups, individuals, and they pick it up, collect it, and integrate the demands of the people. Integrative functions. They do the integrative functions. They find out the focal point of the political demands, the focal things, main thing, interest. What are the most urgent and emergency thing they need to put it to the government. They need to put pressure on the government with these demands. Then finally, with all this socialization, articulation, aggregation, and finally they do the political communication. They communicate with the supporters as well as the government for getting a decision. And then in the other side of the political system is output functions. Here we see rule making, rule application, and rule adjudication. Who makes the rule? Rule making is the executive of the government. They make the rule based on the demands of the political parties and pressure group. The rule making, they make laws in the parliament. I'm sorry, they make laws in the parliament. It's a legislative function. The legislature, they make laws which is consistent with the demands of the political parties. That means the people. That's why we call it representative democracy. This legislature, then rule making, rule application. Who apply the rules? The bureaucracy. The bureaucracy, they apply the rules of the society. And then rule education. There should be this bureaucracy, before applying these rules, they should be accountable to the legislature, whether they are applying, they are applying the rules properly or not. Right now, the way police is using force, whether it is excessive force or not, whether it is appropriate or not, this thing should be determined, because that's why they need to have the accountability to the legislature. Then finally, rule adjudication. Who will adjudicate the rule? Judiciary. We need to have a independent judiciary. It is not selected, or the judiciary people judiciary should not represent the government. They should represent the nation. They should represent the country. They should represent the people. If aggrieved people go to the judiciary and the judiciary give a judgment according to the sweet will of the government, then it's going to defeat the state. It will be defeating judiciary or adjudication or misjudgment. This is how a political system works. This is the ideal one. If the political system doesn't work that way, what will happen? We see that right now the crisis we are facing, the one party authoritarian system, and we are now being ruled under one party authoritarian system. Somebody says dictatorial system, and we are going for the third time, fourth time for one party electoral system, one party election. The election commission is spending, millions of dollars in order to have an ineffective election where major political parties are not participating. This kind of participation crisis creates, first of all, in the absence of a proper political participation, we see that there is a legitimacy crisis. This kind of election will elect a authority which are not legitimate.
Well, Dr. Jagul Haidar, I will come to you again
Okay,
because you
thank
have
you so much.
different
Thank you so much.
Now I turn to Mr. Bobby Hajjaj. Mr. Hajjaj, you are a Oxford Scholar, at the same time chairman of a nationalist democratic movement in Bangladesh. You a young man. You have forward advanced law. And I draw attention to the birth of political parties in UK in 1669 concerning the bill known as Exclusion Bill. And that was the matter that decide the fate of the James, Duke of the York, whether he will be in power or not. One group says yes, one group says no. This group they say yes, they supporter. They are the supporter. They say no, they are called the abhorrer. And from these very two parties, the party, Labour Party, and the Conservative Party, they came, Whig and Tory. And in Bangladesh, you have plotted a political party named Nationalist Democratic Movement. Why do you feel, instead of joining the major political parties, there need a new party that is your party? Please explain.
Ji. Assalamu alaikum. First and foremost, my sincere apologies. Dr. Sinha, when you asked the question, I think there were some internet issues. So I couldn't hear the whole question properly, but I did hear the last part in which you basically asked, why didn't you join another party and start your own party? Fair enough. Thank you for that question. And also with that, before I start answering that question, my salam and regards to everybody who's watching this show, and also to the honorable panelists on the show, everybody here. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. So an interesting question. Basically, there are a lot of political parties in Bangladesh. You could argue, some people have argued, there are 300 plus political parties in Bangladesh. Obviously, there are differences in the stature, the status, and the ability of parties, the level of activity, the manpower, their stance on issues, their stance on ideologies. All of these things matter. As the speaker before me, the honorable speaker before me, argued that a political party is a pressure group. It is a political party is really an interest group that also participates in a democratic government, in a democratic system, also participates in election. That's it. That's what a political party is. It's an interest group that participates in election, as long as we're talking about a democratic system. So there are many political parties in Bangladesh, but first and foremost, there are 40 odd registered political parties, as in, an interest group that can participate in election. There are 40 odd parties that can actually participate in elections on their own. They can participate in election. We call them registered parties. So they have their own electoral symbols. So first and foremost, of these 40 parties, there were close to 40. Then we created one, and it became 41. Then this election turned, earlier this year, two new parties, BNM and Trinamool Congress, and three new parties, BNM, Trinamool Congress, and there was another one. Three parties were given registration. So now there are about 43. So there are 43 parties. So we created our party because amongst the other 39 parties that existed when we started our journey. We started our journey back in 2016 as a political party. Uh, the 39 parties that existed that actually mattered, registered. Of those, there were the two big parties, BNP and Awami League, that had been in government. There was a third party that had been in government, the Jatiyo Party, and a fourth party that had been a coalition partner in government, the Jamaat-e-Islam. Outside of these four parties, you could clearly categorize the rest of the parties. So I'll talk about these four parties a little bit later. You could clearly categorize the rest of the parties. So there were the left parties, Jashod, JSD. There are multiple parts of Jashod, Bashod, BSD, multiple parts of Bashod, Workers' Party, Communist Party. So there's a whole lot of these. There are 10, 12 of these. Then there are what we might call Islamist parties. Islamist parties also have multiple categorizations. Islamist parties, we have, as an academic, I have broken them down as, sort of madrasa-based parties, as, sort of spiritual leader or peer-based parties. Other people have as well. Madrasa-based, peer-based, and then there are particular activism-based parties. So then there are these which are Islamist parties. So you've got two clear groups. That's like 20 odd parties right there. Two clear groups of Islamist parties and leftist parties. Outside of these parties, and not that all leftist parties are active parties, neither are all Islamist parties active Islamist parties, but they are there, they're registered. Outside of these, there are a few parties that are inactive. The registration exists, but they're inactive. As in, you don't see them, working on any issues. There is no activism from those parties. And when I say inactive, I mean politically inactive, as in there's no activism from those parties on any issues. There are no public gatherings, no rallies or anything. Nothing related to issue-based activism, because that's what political parties do, apart from running for elections. So then there are no other parties here. We are not leftists. We are not Islamists, and we are active in politics regarding any and every issue. So then all the other 36, 35 parties are out. We couldn't be part of those 35 parties because they don't count. Because again, for those reasons, for us they don't count. I don't mean for a second. I don't mean to belittle them. I don't mean to say they don't count. I mean for us they didn't count for these reasons, as I've just explained. Now let's come to the big part. Awami League. Since 2010, since 2009, but more specifically from 2014, has been a clearly non-democratic fascist government. And there is no democracy within the party either. But more importantly, it's running a fascist government. If you want to be part of a fascist government, then all you really want to do is gain the benefits from that fascist government. That's not political activism. We don't call that politics. Okay, that's business. That's business, and business through political means. We don't do that. So Awami League is out. The BNP has its own very specific structure and beliefs. Beliefs that, even though we are NDM, we are right now in, the anti-government movement with the BNP. We're all on this together. But we're not BNP with the party. As in our party and BNP, we're all in a coalition in this movement for a better, bigger purpose. But we don't believe in this exact same thing that the BNP does. So we can be part of the BNP. Jamaat-e-Islami, again, an Islamist party. We're not Islamists. That's out. The only party that's left is Jatiyo Party. And again, I can make the same argument. Jatiyo Party has been playing ball for the Awami League, especially since the 2014 election. So Jatiyo Party, I don't even regard, and no disrespect to anybody, but this is just the last 10 years of history speaking, I don't regard the Jatiyo Party as a real political party. The Jatiyo Party probably was a real political party at one time, and there was a time when I was actually part of the Jatiyo Party. But from 2014 election onward, Jatiyo Party has not been a political party. Every MP that the Jatiyo Party has is an Awami League MP, is an MP who became MP through the patronization of the state, or very specifically, the head of the state. So the Jatiyo Party, in our eyes, doesn't exist as a party. So in 2016, when we started our political activism journey, political activism can only be matured through the creation of a party which becomes a vehicle, as the speaker before me explained, which becomes a vehicle through which you can contend for state power. Contend. Doesn't matter. You don't have to get to state power. You got to be able to contend for state power. And so in 2016, we didn't have an option but to start a party. And we didn't just randomly start a party. We started a party with over 32 districts, with committees in over 32 districts and over 150, upazilas in Bangladesh. So I personally traveled most of the country from 2015 to 2017. visited again all 32 zillas and more than 200 upazillas just in those 2 years, and created all those committees and whatnot. And in 2017, we officially declared the party. And we declared the party because we wanted to create an accountable Bangladesh. None of the parties that we've spoken of so far, and I've more or less covered every political party that works in Bangladesh, that is of any count. I've covered all of them. None of those specific parties. Now, new parties can be coming up and so on and so forth, and they might believe in the right things, and we'd love to work with them if they do. But none of those parties believe in accountable democracy. All of those parties believe in specific hierarchical structures. And again, to run a party, you do need a hierarchical structure. That's a different point. But you look at these parties and the hierarchies are frozen for life. So the party chairman is chairman for life. Positions are for life. And, again, it becomes nepotism, as in, it becomes, hereditary. It becomes like, a family property. It's handed over through generations. That's not what democratic politics is all about. So in order to serve the people of this country, in order to create an accountable democracy, in order to fight the fascism of the Awami League government, and in order to fight any and every sort of, paternalistic, family-based, and so on and so forth, hereditary politics in this country, we have to start a new party. And throughout the nation, with the help of the people, with the love of the people, we started the Nationalist Democratic Movement. So that's my answer for you, Dr. Sinha, on why we started a new party.
Thank you very much. Well, now I move to Dr. A.R. Khan. You listened to Bobby Hajjaj, and he explained why he blocked the party, and he his own logic analysis, and he believes that his party is very much up to the standard to face the 21st century problems in Bangladesh. And side by side, you have also voted for the federal party. And do you feel that federal party is in a position to cope with the situation that Bangladesh is going to face and face? What the programs you have taken to suit the very purpose? What the logic you have at this very moment in mind? Please, you explain.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. Thank you very much for inviting me and giving me these opportunities to share my ideas and experience that I have gained over several years when I was in politics, still in politics. Actually, why the third political party is not coming up in the country? Because the whole nation is divided into two parts. One is Bangladesh Awami League and another one is Bangladesh Jatiyotawadi Dal, like BNP. So why the third party is not coming up? Because when you talk about the political parties, as you mentioned, as you heard that Bobby had just said that almost 300 political parties are in the country. So each and every political parties actually, they don't have any own ideology of them. They are not carrying their own ideology. Either they are supporting Bangladesh Nationalist Party BNP, or they are supporting the Bangladesh Awami League. So because end of the day, when you see their topics or the way they are talking in political arena, so you will clearly understand that actually it's like a feeding political parties, like they are serving actually under the command of the main political parties. That's why last 53 years, you see, only two political parties, they are ruling the nation from the very beginning. Okay, if you talk about the Bangladesh Jatiya Party, okay, forget it. So, in fact, what's happening right now? So, all the political parties, those right now is playing in the country as a political parties. So, can you tell me the one specific political party that they have their own ideology? Why the people will support them? Why people will go with them? Why people will stand beside them? Because there is nothing is new over there. So I'm telling you, there is a kind of same. The difference between two parties is league and dal. There's the main differences. So that's why, because when I visited some the rural areas, the most people, the 80% people of the nation, they are living in the villages. They do not worried about the sociology, political issues, socio-economic condition, the electoral system. They do not understand anything. They do not understand anything about this. That they know only one thing, that okay, who is standing beside me? Okay, when I'm in pain, when I'm in a problem, when I'm facing any sort of problem, so the person is coming or helping me, or who is standing beside me. That's the main things for them actually. About no any other political parties, for them actually this is not their issues. They do not understand that the politics is a, as we say, the politics is a kind of collective efforts, or is a set of activities working for the people, for the betterment of the people, or how the nation will be governed or something like that. They don't have any even single issues about them. So that's why actually last 53 years we have seen that actually whole nation is governed by the two political parties, that is Bangladesh Awami League and BNP. So why we come up as a federal democratic party? Because as we understand right now, we understand that actually without provincial government, or without two step two stage of the political system actually, I think that is why we come up with the new ideas, that is federal system. Because without that actually you cannot change the entire political system of the country, you cannot change the electoral system of the country, you cannot control the any sort of problems that we are facing right now, in terms of if so unemployment, in terms of political issues, in terms of electrical issues, voting rights, or human rights activities, or non-judicial killings, and etc etc. But if you want to change all those things, then you have to go to the different political systems that is not in use right now. If you talk about the BNP and Awami League, what is the basic differences between Bangladesh Awami League and BNP? Tell me, what are the basic differences? They're the same thing, just only is that terminology is a difference. One is saying that dol, and another one is saying that okay, what do you say, league, like Mohila League, Mohila Dol, or something like that. So that is why we are trying to introduce a new political system. So the new hierarchy system, the two stage our parliamentary system, so that people can have justice, people can have raise their voice, people can the even the leadership can be created from the roots level. That's the main things actually. That is why we are saying that okay, this is the only way that Federal Democratic Party is coming up like that way. Thank you.
Thank you very much, J.R. Khan. Now I move to Dr. Showkat Ali. Dr. Showkat Ali, you are living in America. Definitely, a big question here. Because the founding fathers of America in 1774, then in 1789 and 1787, they did not foresee the birth of political parties because they saw the political parties in UK, and out of their hatred and discontent, they felt there should be no political parties in the United States of America. But the very election in 1796, Madison Jefferson and other leaders there, they have a chasm between them. And from then on, there is a political party. And today, we believe Republican and Democratic Party. That is the forerunner. That is the follower of this party. Having all these things in mind, America founding fathers thought there should be no political party. But it is an inevitable in the history of politics and politics. Political parties are a must. What is your understanding about the working of the political parties in America, and why there are so many loopholes in the political parties in other countries? Please, Dr. Shakuta.
Well, thank you, Said Bhai. You have asked a very comprehensive question. I know you're referring to 16th century politics of European politics, and then you bring it American politics. And I try to address those, kind of situation step by step. Some of them I try my best, but my most respect goes to the our discussant, Dr. Jorul Haidar, did discuss some academic area. Bobby Hajjaj did a very good job because he lives in Bangladesh and he got very nice, strong political interaction with all the other political parties. Dr. Yar Khan expected to have a good hope from Bangladeshi politicians and all those things. If you ask the 70s, 76 and all those things, I would say, listen, we don't have the father of the nation. Can you imagine? 100 years ago, they solved the problem. And it is called the founding father. These founding fathers, we respect all of them. And everybody, all of them, all the 11 members of the founding father to a certain extent. Can you imagine? Remember one thing, when United States declare independence, which is the first country to recognize? Sinha, you are a politics student of politics. You have to answer me. I know you said I'm very scary thing. Can you imagine? Who is the first country? What is the next first country of Muslim country? This is Moroccan king. Recognize United States because of the persuasion of Thomas Jefferson and because of the friendship of Muhammad, the king of that time. He gave the Holy Quran as a gift and Jai Namaz and Tasbih. Still, it is preserved in Washington Museum. It's the Holy Quran. As you know, Rashida Tlaib and our congresswoman, some Umar, those the police their oath, they take the oath based on the Holy Quran, kept by Thomas Jefferson. We don't know the history. United States, the first country, got recognition by a Muslim country, undivided Moroccan country. And look at what our condition right now. Yeah. So we work as a Muslim country with the founding fathers of that time. And not only that, Thomas Jefferson and Washington wrote personally to Moroccan king so that they can send their shipping merchant ship to the Mediterranean Sea. And it is not attacked by the British or any other country. Remember, France and Morocco was the best. They have their good friendship at that time. So the Moroccan king gave the guarantee to George Washington and Thomas Jefferson. He was the foreign secretary at that time. Look, all the history. Now, if this history, Jewish people knows that in this country, oh my God, there will be 20 volumes of books written on that relationship. But look, we have no idea. We don't know. What is the letter they wrote each other? It is still preserved in Washington Museum. Now, brother, come to little bit a little bit precise point. Let's come to the democratic principle they established. Still, it is going on right now. No problem at all. As you know, democracy basic principle. There will be fight, there will be argument, there will be ups and downs, there will be argument, there will be economic policy, the steps, there will be defeat, there will be kick out. And look at this. Trump was against the establishment. He was against the army. He was against the Muslim. All the Spanish people, all these things. He's a nonsense, stupid guy. We want to kick him out. We've got a beautiful system. We kick him out. He's trying to come back. Look, there is opportunity in this country. He's knocking door everywhere. Give me vote and this and that is going on process. Last 2 years he's doing that. What happened in Bangladesh? There is no comparison. Now look, before, after saying those kind of things, I want to go back to 1948, the Second World War. If you want to do politics, if you want to learn politics, then you have to go back to the history. as you mentioned, the history of 16th century, 17th century history of mankind, the civilization, economic emancipation, the communism, the democratic process. You have to have. If you don't have those knowledge, please go to the hell. Do not come to the politics. You are a stupid man. This is the reason about 25 years ago, the Time magazine made a headline. It says, the politics after Second World War, the leader came to give a sacrifice for the civilization or humankind. After that, especially after 1970s or 80s, people came to politics to gain something out of their countries. Professor Showkat Ali sir was visiting my home at that time. May Allah bless him, his departed soul. Allah grant him Jannatul Firdaus. He said, Showkat, I'll keep this copy. You have any problem? I said, no, sir, you can keep it. 15, 20 years ago, he take it. I know. This is my best investment. If I give it to Professor Ali, and he will write a lot of things. Look, Dr. Sinha, you said it. Look what said John F. Kennedy. Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. Can you imagine? You telling me to go 1600 century, what Jefferson, what George Washington said. Look at this, his descendant. Look at the lineage. Look at the president, he said. Don't ask. Don't ask what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for the country. What the damn thing in Bangladesh? Come on, man. Not only Bangladesh. It is in Asia, Africa, Latin America, and European country. All this leadership is stupid, illiterate. So what do you expect from them? If you don't know the economics, if you don't know your religion, your culture, your history, your constitution, your people, your labor group, the people deliverer, if you don't know, don't come to the politics. And you know what happened? All the intellectual, all these things who are writing the books, we never denounce them. We encourage them. We join them. Look what happened in Bangladesh. All stupids are all together. A stupid plus stupid plus stupid is equal to stupid. Exactly, you are doing this thing. Look at the John F. Kennedy. Who give you all those Bangladeshis at that time, Pakistan? Is Pakistan all the development I said 100 times as a student of economics? Who give you the Lotte jutments, Adamji jutments? Who give you the hydraulic airport? Who give the country industry in Pakistan? Is Pakistan? Who developed the University of Russia? Who give you the Chittagong University? Who made the Joyrullah Hall or Sujjushan Hall? Who give you? Who give you the parliament, the damn parliament you are using and abusing the people of Bangladesh? Who give you? This is John F. Kennedy, the best friend of President Ayub. That time it is called consortium. All the European countries, donor countries including Japan. No India, get the hell out from our face. Never, you are beggar forever. Forever. You have total GDP is 3.5 trillion. And given coming to Bangladesh to doing the business, any country you get benefited out of business with the bilateral partner, it is only the Bangladesh. What nonsense we are living. Look, after Second World War, all the Muslim countries came independence. They became independent after Second World War. I'm not going to give the credit to Hitler, but it is what it is. The European, the countries, the British. Look at the British give the Indian independence. Why? It is the economics. It is not the Jawaharlal Nehru or Jinnah or Gandhi. Because non-cooperative movement and all the nonsense thing, we said it. Because the economics, they cannot run the ship from London to India. They have no sailor. They have 60% women alive. They have no men alive. No young people alive because of the Hitler's big bamboo. Finish everything. Bobby Hajjaj was there. I was there to see how much London, the Second World War, Hitler captured. The barricade is still there. There is the giving. I see that. That is the reason they cannot come to the shore of India. This is the reason in fact, independence. All right. Look at the leader after that. Jamal Abdul Nasser, 1956. Look at the leader, Jawaharlal Nehru. Look at this leader, Marshal Bros Tito. Look at this leader, Ahmad Sukarno of Indonesia. Marshal Bros Tito from Yugoslavia. Why not we add Muslim leader, our leader, Asian leader, Maulana Abdul Hamid Khan Bashari, Nelson Mandela of South Africa. Look what they have sacrificed. Look, my country. Maulana Bhasani was proposed directly, openly, and secretly through diplomatic channel by President Ayub Khan to be the Prime Minister of East Pakistan. Did he accept it? Look at this. What Bobby Hajjaj said. They're all bastard going to the Bangu Bhavan to arrange the seat for their own and their family, their wives. Pick them out. Rise up. Don't do the nonsense politics in my country. I have little bit sacrifice for this damn nation. I cannot accept it. What they're doing, Rashid Khan Menon, my leader, once a tiny leader with a mustache. Look at his face and body. Oh, I'm so happy to see him. The weight gain. And I know how much he financially gained, joined with Awami League. But his dream came through the President of Europe. He was first time elected. He never be in a member of Upajala or a chairman of his area. Same thing, there are a lot of people came. Dream come true by the President Rahman at that time. Only thing he wanted to integrate the whole society. Left is right, is Muslim League, Jamaat Islam, everything. And look what they are doing now. Nonsense. Stupid. Illiterate. So now, look at this, their sacrifice. Country was non-aligned movement at that time. And they immensely benefited all those things after their death. Even their country is not there. Look at the Yugoslavia is not there. Look at the Jawaharlal Nehru principles of non-alignment and communal friendship. Look at the Hindu fundamentalists. How they're ruling. How they're doing the damage of Indian politics and economics. Totally nonsense. We should have denouncing politically. Our leader, political leaders, they fail. What do you expect? If you see,
1 minute.
excuse me, I did not hear you very clear, Sinabhai. Very sorry.
1 minute for you. 1 minute only.
All right. So now come to the conclusion. Look at the politics now. Look at this, all this thing. Bangladesh is nothing but a real estate. Those bastards come to the power with a great hope to make money. Not everybody. Very sorry to say that. Some people came. Probably they are following, they have studied the norms of politics. And look what is going on. Can you imagine? The government party is deciding who will be the opposition leader. Can you imagine? In my country, Bangladesh, where Bangabandhu, I said, my leader up to 1973. After that, I have analysis. I can make lecture 5 hours. No, 73, 74, 75. I cannot accept it. Simple is this. It is what it is. But
Well, we'll come to you again. Please.
1973, he is my leader. Look at the sacrifice of Maulana Abdul Hamid Khan Bashani. They don't know this is stupid politician, those who are.
I will come to you again. Please, please.
So, sorry about that things. I am very excited because you put me in the history. It's a very long history. And I am very sorry to say that within
Thank you
very
very much.
short period of time, I have to do the conclusion.
Right.
I'm very
Thank
sorry.
you.
I'm very sorry. Thank
Thank you
you.
very much for your comprehensive study analysis on this topic. Now, Mr. Mitchell, you are a
We are
political
not
scientist.
clearly. It's
Honorable
very
moderator,
unclear your voice.
we're not
My
Well,
sure
voice
what you're
should
saying.
be, huh?
you are listening to me now?
Little better maybe. I
Broken.
don't know the other participants.
It's broken, very broken.
Okay. Okay. Dr. Jorul Hadar, as a political scientist, you listen to all the lectures delivered by the three speakers. And my asking to you, what the leadership? What is leadership and what is statesmanship? And does Bangladesh suffer from lack of leadership and statesmanship? And what is the present state of the state? Please, Jorul Hadar.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sinha, again. And first, I want to compliment Dr. Showkat Ali with a famous saying of President William Jefferson Bill Clinton. Back in 1992, I was a doctoral student at Atlanta University, and I had the opportunity to listen to his State of the Union speech. He said, you Republican and we Democrats, all of us have done mistakes in the past. None of us can correct our yesterday, but all of us can change our tomorrow. Let's go. Let's work together. Unquote. So this is what I want from the leadership of Bangladesh. All of us don't explore the past. Just go ahead for the future, and we should reach a consensus what to do. And I have very brilliant political leaders here. Hopefully, they will show us new dream. And we are waiting for those new days. Anyway, now I'm coming to the leadership. The quality of leadership. I spoke at the formative speech that quality of leadership determines the quality of state. Leadership leadership derives from authority. Leadership depends on authority. How you're gaining the authority. And authority, first of all, if you look at the sources of authority, authority derives from knowledge. First of all, authority derives from knowledge. You have to look at the leaders' quality of leadership, how much knowledge they do have. Dr. Showkat Ali, he told about John F. Kennedy. Ask not your country what she can do for you. Ask your country what you can do for her. So you should have the knowledge to love your country. You should have the, in order to have the patriotism, you have to have the knowledge to love your country. This is the first thing we are lacking. Then authority derives from law. Legally, authority derives from law. The law empowers you the power. Law empowers you the authority. And then authority derives from charisma. He talked about Jamal Abdul Nasser, whatever it is, Marshal Tito, and South African leader, great leader. So they accrued their authority from knowledge. But in our country, if you compare our leadership, our country, gained authority from hereditary, from dynasty. Hereditarily, they got the authority to regulate the politics, to regulate the parties. This is the main, difference. As a student of comparative politics, this is the basic academic difference between the quality of leadership, the quality of, learned leadership like Muhammad Ali Jinnah, Jawaharlal Nehru, in South Asian context. If you look at Sri Muhammad Bandar Naik, if you look at those people, you'll see their quality is much, much higher than our leaders in Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. All these things. So the quality of leadership, it depends on how you're gaining the authority. Do you have enough knowledge to lead the country? Do you have enough, legally are you authorized to do this? And then charisma. Do you have that much charisma? We did have a lot of charismatic leadership. That's true. Well, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman was a charismatic leader. Ziaur Rahman was a charismatic leader. Khalida Zia was a charismatic leader too. I believe that, because when Khalida Zia speaks, Khalida goes to a tiny town, she can gather lakhs of people. Sheikh Hasina, she can gather lakhs of people. We do have charismatic leadership, but the quality of leadership, charisma doesn't always represent the quality. Charisma one thing, but for quality you need knowledge. That is very important. That what we are missing at this point in our country. So now I'm going back to my point. In a political system, if you have this kind of quality of leadership, and if they are this much arrogant, and they are not supportive to their own people, they do not, if they do not stand on their own people, they are not underpinned on people's mandate, then they become authoritarian, dictatorial. They do whatever they want to do, because the money, which the millions of dollars, millions of rupees or taka, whatever they're spending, this is not their money. This is my money, your money, our, we are paying our taxes. They are misusing our money. So that's why they do not have appropriate training. They do not have appropriate knowledge. They do not have appropriate charisma properly to utilize the national property to they are not mandated to do this, but they are doing this in order to establish their family dynasty, in order to establish authoritarianism. In Bangladesh right now, what is going on, that this kind of election is nothing but a circus. And this government, staying in power for long 15 years, they're now aspiring to stay more 5, 10, 20 years, and their target is 42. They want to, by 40, they will stay in power until 1942. What they will do? They will establish slavery. It's a new form of slavery. If you look at the people, if you look at Bangladesh, you see that more 2/3 population are slaves, and 1/3 population, handful population, with their allies, they are ruling the country. They are distributing, patronages, and they are distributing goods and services among them. If you do not belong to Awami family, Awami dynasty, Awami community, you do not have any job. You do not, you have no room to place. You do not have, you do not have any right to protest against the government. If you criticize the prime minister, you will be in the jail. I know one student. She's like my student. She's a student of, I think, Jagannath University, Khodejatul Kubra. She made a comment in her Facebook against the prime minister. It's a very constructive comment she made, and then she was in the jail for 2 years. Recently, she was released, and from jail, she has straight gone to the examination hall. This is what is happening in such a situation. What we can do. The whole nation is there. The ruling authority established slavery in the civilized world. Although slavery is history, now they are trying to give a new shape of slavery in the name of so-called political modernization, in the name of so-called political development, in the name of so-called democracy, where people doesn't have any connections with the power structure. This is what is happening right now in Bangladesh. So we have to what we have to do. We have to get rid of this. We have to get rid of this kind of slavery. We have to get rid of people. We people are stateless people. Most of the people are stateless people. You know that stateless people. There are two types of stateless people. One is de jure stateless people. They are citizens of legally they are citizens, and they have everything. They have participation. They have participation in employment, public health, education everywhere. But there are some other people. They are de facto stateless. Those people legally they are citizens, but practically their citizenship is ineffective. They do not enjoy the benefits of the state. They do not enjoy the fruits of the state. They do not enjoy the fruits of the independence. So this is what is happening. More than 3/4 people of the country are being denied from enjoying the fruits of the independence. Handful people, They are handful people are enjoying everything. They are laundering money. They are buying golf clubs. They are doing everything, and millions of dollars they are sending out for their own development. So the development dream the government is showing us, this development is not a development. This is a male development. This is a misdevelopment, and from this kind of development, only handful people they're getting benefits, and rest of the people are going to carry the burdens of development. All the debts, they're carrying the debts, and at the cost of their debts, some people are enjoying the fruits of development.
Yes.
Economist,
Thank you very much, Mr. Dr.
economist
Haidar.
is here, he can give you a better economic answer. Thank you.
1 minute only. And thank you very much, Mr. Zohar. Was you Hajjaj. Hajjaj, we believe that once very soon more you will be state president. And with this analysis and assumption, your responsibility and accountability to the nations rise very high. Would you kindly tell me, should Bangladesh remain as unitary form of government or a federal one? Should there be any change in the election process, I mean the proportional representation, or not? Please, Mr. Bobby Hajjaj.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sinha, for your question. Before, but again, there were problems and I couldn't hear all of your question, but I think you asked about representative what do you call it? I mean, parliamentary systems. I think that was what you were talking about, probably maybe even proportional, sort of system of, parliamentary seat arrangements and so on and so forth. Before I start talking about anything, if I could make a request to everybody on the panel to mute their microphones, those who are not speaking, then it would be easier for all of us to hear. If, if you would be kind enough, or if somebody's moderating the panel, they could mute everybody who's not speaking. It would be easier for us to hear each other, because now I couldn't even hear Dr. Sinha's questions. But as far as our parliamentary system is concerned, there's a lot of room for reform. My party, we believe in a bicameral system of parliament. Sort of one house going through first past the post sort of electoral, getting chosen through an electoral system that's first past the post as it is right now, and another chamber of the parliament that is chosen through a proportional system, so that even parties that have 2, 3, 4% of the vote can actually participate in the policy making process of the state. So that is necessary. But also, we could have a very well functional parliament, a very well functional democracy with whatever system we have right now. It's more about political culture. And as many people here have repeated, argued, and spoken of today, we've got sort of a problem with dynastic politics, where people who aren't really part of the political system become part of the political system through sort of their lineage. And also we have another problem where we leave no room for compromise. Right now, the government is holding an election in which any party that is not associated with the government has already forsaken, we have already, sort of declared that this is not an election. Everybody has. It isn't. This is a farce. I mean, you can't even call it an election, because election, is the name of a particular process. That process is not going to happen, not happening right now, and not going to happen on the 7th of January as declared of 2024. So we can't really call it an election. We can call it some sort of a farce, some sort of a drama, some sort of a staged process, that is trying to mimic an election. We could call it that. We could come up with a name for it. It's not an election. But if we did have elections, And if our political culture, because we did have elections in 1991, we did have, one farcical one, but one real one in 1996. We did have a reasonably good election in 2001, but we didn't get democracy. Why? Because of our political culture. In 1996, between 1996 to 2001, when the Awami League was in government, there was an attempt at the life of the then opposition leader Khaleda Zia. I'm not saying Awami League did it, but there seemed to be, allegedly, complicity of the government. Between 2001 and 2006, again, there was an attempt on not just the life of the opposition leader, but many other leaders of the opposition. So then opposition leader Sheikh Hasina, which is again seen as, and we all mark it as one of those tragedies, one of those tragic days in our political history. So now between 1996 to 2001, an attempt with probable complicity of the government on the life of the then opposition leader. Between 2001 to 2006, an attempt, again, through probable government complicity, on the life of the then opposition leader. Then comes 111, when there was no political government. And during 111, there was a process where senior leaders of both parties, of the Awami League and the BNP, tried to get rid of their party chairperson. And this process, it was really the grassroots activists who stopped this process. Had it not been for the grassroots activists, this process would have happened. It would have matured. And the two chairmen of the two party would have been ousted. But the two chairmen of the two party, never, not before, not after, did they come to terms that they live in the same country. They try to represent the same 175 million people. And so in the political process, there should be some compromise. That remains the problem. Right now, the Awami League says there is not going to be any compromise. We are going to hold the election in any which way we want. And we on the opposition, which we call the 1 point movement, the Agdaf Andolon, the 1 point movement, we in the opposition, we have declared that the only way an election can be held is if the Awami League steps down right now. So we both are at two extreme positions. The government is in an extreme position. No bloody election. We will stage everything. That is an extremely extreme position because that's a non-democratic fascist position. We, the 1 point movement, the opposition, are also in a bit of an extreme position. Because we are saying, step down first, then we'll start talking. That's a bit of an extreme position. It's still a democratic position. It's not a fascist position like the government, but it is still an extreme position because it is beyond the reach of the constitution, which automatically makes it an extreme position, which is fair enough. You've taken an extreme position. I've taken an extreme position. Let's have a chat and try to come to a compromise. The problem here is nobody has even made an attempt for a compromise. We, the opposition, are being harassed. We are being put in jail. We are under severe pressures from the government. So we are not really in a position to call anybody for a compromise. We are running about trying to save our bloody hides. It's the government that could call for a compromise. But the leadership of the Awami League doesn't believe in compromise. And that has become the status quo of the country. Nobody, wants to compromise. Without a compromise, that becomes the political culture. Now, without a compromise, now you talk to Awami Leaguers. Now, let's forget about the premier leadership, whom we've called dynastic leaders. Let's forget about the premier leadership. You go to Awami Leaguers, and any random Awami Leaguer will say, people who don't support the Awami League are against the independence of the country, are against 71, are treasonous traitors. That's the bloody language. Sorry. That's the language we've come to today. And sometimes, if you disagree with anything the government says, they have a name for you. They call you Jamaat, and they call you Rajakar. These are the two names they have for you. And we've seen in 2018, when children, literally children, 15, 14, 13-year-olds, came down on the streets. We called it the road safety movement. I don't know if you remember. The road safety movement, young children, 13, 14, 15, 16, these all came down on the streets of all the major cities in the country. And they took over. Because the government was laughing at all sorts of deaths through, sort of rampant road accidents. There were people in the government were laughing at it. The kids had had enough. The kids came down on the streets. And the government leaders started identifying these children, our children, 13, 14-year-olds, as Rajakars. And after a certain point, the children started hailing, yes, we are Rajakars. Rajakars are the new Bangladesh. Can you imagine the level of, sort of pig-headedness that we've come to in our political culture? So we need to move away from this sort of culture, and we need compromise. Now, you could argue that the leaders that are in place right now, as in, I only mean the premier leaders, I don't mean anybody else, but the premier leaders and the people around them that exist right now do not believe in compromise. And that is why the political culture is as it is. If over time or through some other measure, this thing changes, the premier leadership changes, then maybe compromise will come. I do hope for it. Leadership is always there. Leadership is never missing. Leadership is never missing, no matter who tells you what. If there wasn't Nelson Mandela, there was Stephen Baku. Stephen Baku was a bigger leader than Nelson Mandela. There are, anywhere you go, Sheikh Mujib, if there wasn't Sheikh Mujib, there was someone else. The first person who actually declared independence was Maulana Bhashani. These are historical facts. You can't argue against it. The first leader of substance, a big leader. And actually, you can't get a bigger leader than Maulana Bhashani, because if you're talking about Awami League was given birth to by Maulana Bhashani. So Maulana Bhashani was the first big leader in East Pakistan who declared independence. If there wasn't Sheikh Mujib, there was Maulana Bhashani. If there wasn't Maulana Bhashani, there were many other leaders. Many other leaders. If there wasn't Nehru, there were many other leaders. Nehru wasn't even vocal. Nehru didn't start even speaking till the 1930s, till the 36, after the Morley reforms and the election. Nehru didn't even have a voice before that. So when you talk about anybody, it doesn't matter if it's Tito. Tito was a great, sort of soldier and general, and he got all the forces together and fought, sort of created a united Yugoslavia, because he sort of separated the identity of the Croats, the identity of the Serbs, and so on and so forth. And there was the Yugoslav identity, the Slav identity. That's what Tito did. But that was forged on the battlefront. And if Tito hadn't done it, somebody else would have done it. Just like Mustafa Kemal did in Turkey. So leadership comes up. You don't have to worry about leadership. Leadership comes up whenever it's necessary. Right now, because of the fascism in this country, no kind of leadership can come up. There was talk about Hitler at this discussion. I don't know why, but Hitler came up. Hitler could come up because of the Treaty of Versailles, because the Treaty of Versailles was one of the easiest terms given to a defeated nation ever in the last 300 years of European history, before and after. That's why no Hitler could come up after the Second World War. That's why no Hitler could come up after the 7-year war, after the 30-year war. Because the Treaty of Versailles, after the First World War, was the easiest treaty in the last 300 years of European history. That's why Hitler could come up. And Hitler happened because Hindenburg, the actual leader in charge, sort of wanted to retire. So leadership is not something we ever have to worry about in a nation of 135 million people. Leadership will come up. There will be a Zaglul Haidar. There will be a Showkat Ali. There will be an A.R. Khan. There will be a Sinha Sayeed ready to take on the mantle of leadership. What we need are the right conditions. What we need is for the people to ask for the right kind of political culture. And that is going to happen. It's just unfortunate that a party like the Awami League, which has 100+ years of history, the Awami League was born in 1906.
I mean, some of you might argue, no, that was the Muslim League. The Muslim League is the bloody Awami League. So it is a history. It's a party with more than 100 years of history, and yet that party has come to this, where that party 2 days ago declared that in 3 months there's going to be a famine in Bangladesh. They declared this 2 days ago. If you guys are checking the news, that's the state of this party. Whereas a simple compromise, and we could all create a better nation. So if this party fails and we do come to that famine, hear me now, leadership is not going to be our problem. Leaders are waiting. Leaders will come up. Things will happen. This country has brought up leaders before. You talked about Ziaur Rahman. Ziaur Rahman was no exception. Great leader. You talked about Sheikh Mujib. Sheikh Mujib was no exception. Great leader. If Ziaur Rahman hadn't been there, Khalid Musharraf would have been. Showkat Ali would have been. There were others. But yes, obviously you give credit to Ziaur Rahman, great hero. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not taking credit away from Kemal Ataturk. I'm not taking credit away from Tito. I'm not taking credit away from Nasser or Sadat or anybody. I'm not taking credit away from them. What I'm saying is, if Sadat had not been there, somebody else would have. Leadership is not the problem. Our country is prepared for the future. It's the Awami League that's not prepared for the future. And what I foresee in a very short period of time is the Awami League failing, not Bangladesh, the nation, failing. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Bobby Hajjaj. He spoke in a very high. And you touched on the leaderships and qualities and whether leadership is essential. Leaders are not born. They are trained. There is so many theories of leadership and of leadership. So side by side, there is also and taking all this Dr. Khan, do you find any gap leadership?
Dr. Sinha, I can hear you properly.
Mr.
Sinha,
Khan.
sorry, I can hear you properly. Yes, please.
Mr. Khan, do you foresee any gap between the old leadership and how can it resolve? Because we believe thoughts from the past, the new thoughts from the new generation, at what? And today, we must have to recognize as folks Bobby Hajjaj party in Bangladesh which have grown and they have the leaders. Whether they are up to the standard, questions are there are so many people doing politics. Do you think so many political parties are not helpful for the growth of Bangladesh? Do you think so?
Mr. Sinha, I think something wrong with internet connectivity or something like that, because I cannot hear your questions properly. Okay, as far as I understand that you asked about, could you please repeat it again, because I can't hear you properly. Sorry.
Do you find any gap between old leaderships and a new leadership? And if there are gaps, how can these gaps may be resolved? Why there are so many political parties in the new leaderships and old leaderships are not recognizing them? And new leaderships are not standard approaches. Maybe 2 or 3 political parties like Mr. Bobby Hajjaj and you, maybe. But there are so many political parties, at least, who are not up to the standard of thinking what is going to take place in the coming age and coming centuries. And how the gaps between the old thoughts and the new thoughts be resolved. Yes, Mr. Khan.
Well, understand. Okay. First of all, I will say that right now, country is country is looking for a, I think, a strong leadership, because country is looking for a looking for the leader, something like one who can lead the nation. You see why the BNP, why the Bangladesh Nationalist Party, Bangladesh Nationalist Party, they are trying to make a huge movement against the government. But why they fail to, why they fail to collect people? Because of lacking of leadership. Because right now, country is facing a lacking of leadership. There is no leadership right now. There is no leadership right now. This is the main problem, right? The first problem in our country is that because lacking of leadership, we don't have any leader right now. Even though I'm not sure that Sheikh Hasina is leading the country properly, also she's not a leader. Even though, for example, you see the BNP, the Bangladesh Nationalist Party, they are running their party, but their leader living in UK. So you see, this is kind of, I don't understand that how the party is running without the leadership. Even the Begum Razia, she's under the custody, so she cannot go out. So but the political activities is going on. So without proper leadership, actually, you cannot run the political system of your own party. That's the main thing. Second thing is that, for example, so Bobby Hajjaj is here. So if NDM supporting Bangladesh Nationalist Party, then why people will support him? Better people will go behind the Bangladesh Nationalist Party. So in fact, what you have to do actually, if you want to lead the nation, if you want to do a set of an example, then you must have your own voice, you must have your own identity, you must have your own political vision, you must have your own political mission, you must have your political ideology. Otherwise, if you support another party, if you align with other parties like 14 party alliance or 20 party alliance, if you support any other party, then just you tell me why the people will support me. Because if I support you, then better people will support you directly. Why they support you through me? So there's the main things I think right now we are facing, that is lackings of leadership. I think now you must have create your own voice so that people can trust you. Okay, he is my leader. Okay, he is my leader, because leader is one who knows the way, who shows the way, who goes the way. So people should understand, okay, he is my leader, he can solve my problem. Even what happening right now, you see, all the political leaders are coming up the upper portion. They're not coming from the roots level. I am a son of, for example, I'm a son of a political leader. You can so all the political leaders are coming through dynasty, nepotism, or some of them are coming from the outside. But leaders are born in the roots level. You have to understand the pain of the local people. You have to go to the villages. You have to go to the ward level. You have to go to the union level. You have to go to the upajala level. So you must understand the pain of the local people, how they are living, how they are surviving, how you see the government failed to control commodity prices, government failed to control the market, government failed to control the child labor, failed to control the corruption. So who will talk? Who will talk on behalf of the people? So leader will talk. But we didn't find that someone is talking on behalf of the people. What we are saying, we are fighting for our dynasty. For example, all the Awami League leaders, they are fighting for the dynasty. All over the country, 300 constitutional arenas, you will find the people right now, those are involved in politics, they come through the dynasty, they come to the nepotism. So that is why that is the main problem actually. People who trust. You see, people are looking for a leader, but what is a leader? So if you talk about Tariq Rahman, if you talk about any other bird, anyone, you just tell me one name who can lead the nation right now. So that is the main problem actually. Now what we have to do, that is why we are starting from the very at the roots level, so that people can understand, okay, this is the person who can fight for us, he is the person who can talk on behalf of us. Otherwise, you see, right now politics mean is a celebration of birthday, celebration of marriage anniversary, celebration of death anniversary, and celebration of founding anniversary of political party. That's the things, nothing else. Have you ever heard that political party, they are saying about how the unemployment will be solved? how the you see the okay marriage child problem will be solved, how the labor child will be solved, or how the corruption will be controlled, or how the commodity price will be controlled. No, everybody is busy with their own how do you say own dynasty to control their dynasty or nepotism or something like that. So that is why actually right now you see the country is facing a crucial moment. You see, there is no. I didn't find any politics in our country. It's the politics of revenge. It's the politics of cash. It's the politics of violence. Is that so? When I didn't find any politics, or I didn't find any democracy in our country. But now tell me why the people are zip up their mouth, because they understand that if I say few words, if I say anything else, who will support me? Even you see, even so now, for example, if my who is my followers, if they face any problem, if they need any support, any legal support, if they need any legal support, they are not getting it. So that's why actually Bobby has said that leadership doesn't matter, but basically it matters. Leadership is a matter because country is facing right now the most important factor is that there is a lacking of leadership. I think it should come up, but we shouldn't stand behind any other one. For example, I mentioned earlier that like Bobby Hajjaj, they have their own own alliance with BNP. So if you support BNP, then why people will support you? That's why people thinking that okay, they are the actually political party of the BNP. So they are working for BNP. So that's why we are working. We are trying to establish a new dimension in politics. That okay, I am your leader. I want to make some changes. I want to make some radical changes in politics. No more dynasty. No more nepotism. We want to establish a real democratic political party. So that is why we have started our party from the very roots level, starting from the ward, starting from the union, starting from the thana, then upojela. So this is the way. Now we can say, okay, for at least we can say that we have some people. You see that is why even though Federal Democratic Party, we had an offer to tie up with the government. So even though we could have 2 or 3 seats also, but we never been there. Even we never stand with the BNP. We never stand with the Awami. We never stand with the being a Trinamool BNP or something like that. But we could go there. We could join with them. Even we could, if I could join there, maybe I will get a seat over there. But we never did this because we have a long vision. Because we strongly believe that I mentioned you earlier that country has been divided into 2 parts, A and B, Awami League and BNP. All rest of the parties they are supporting actually both the parties from the backside. So that's why we are not with them. We are talking that okay, look, Federal Democratic Party, okay, we are trying to establish a new dimension, radical changes in our political party. So this is a party with nepotism. This is a party without corruption. This is a party without dynasty. So you just come up. This is your party. Raise your voice. Try to say, okay, which is white is white and black is black. So there's the things I think whatever you say actually right now in our country actually main problem is that there is no leadership, there is a lacking of politics, there is lacking of democracy. That's why you see the Awami League government, they are ruling last 15 years without any problem, without any fearing. But you see the people are fearing right now. They zip up their mouth. They don't want to speak a single word. You see, last 2 days, the onion was 80 kg. Just in between 16 hours, it becomes a 200 taka per kg. So nobody is saying a single word. Why the onion prices has been upgraded? Nothing. So these are happening. So anyone can do anything in our country, but nobody say anything because of leadership. Because if there was a proper leader who can lead us, who can show us, who can guide us, who can show the path. Okay, this is the way to come up from the corruption. So that's why I will say. That's why I will say that if you agree or not agree doesn't matter. But fact is that actually we are in great crisis of leadership. We are in great crisis in the political, you see the political parties in the democratic process and other things. I think now the I will just ask the young politicians like Hajjaj and others, make your own identity. Let's work together, but don't stand behind others, because if you stand behind others, you'll lose your identity, because it's a other party is a big party. So we should come up with our own voice so that people can understand. Okay, these are the people. They can speak. They can say. They can fight for our right. They can fight for our right. They can speak up. If I face any problem, if I go to any face any problem, they can talk in on behalf of us. So this is the way I think we can rid of our problems. Otherwise, it will remain same. Thank you. Thank you.
We cannot hear anything. Sirabai, unmute. Unmute. We cannot see.
Viewers,
Cannot hear.
yes, you hear me?
Yes, now a little better.
Viewers, we are about to end this session because we have crossed the 2 hours. But before that, I would like to take resolve to Mr. Jogul Haidar and Dr. Showkat Ali, because few minutes. You have 3 minutes, you have 3 minutes. Dr. Jogul Haidar Chaudhary, you listen to everybody, especially the two speakers who belong to political parties and leading the two political parties, and their idea and conception understanding about the politics, political parties, and the leaderships. What is your conclusion? 3 minutes only.
Oh, thank you so much. Actually, I have the opportunity to hear from Federal Democratic Party Chairperson Air Khan and NDM Chief Bobby Hajjaj, and we two academics too. So thing is that political leadership, of course, political leadership matters, but what should be exactly what should be the level of your leadership? What kind of leadership you should have? There is no what do you call a milestone for that. So yeah, actually, it's a matter of it's a matter of compare. It's a leadership is kind of it's a matter of a relative matter. How better your leadership is. It depends on how better the other party's leadership is. It's a matter of it's a competitive matter. So leadership. Right now I'm not sure the crisis that is going on in Bangladesh, it is exclusively happening for leadership. I don't think so. Right now, we are living in a global village. So right now, the way we are talking, the way we are being connected, similar way everybody is connected. So leadership, I don't think leadership, if you right now, leadership is that severe crisis in my country, Bangladesh. This main problem is our systemic problem. Right now, the political system we are living in, that political system is so you call the compromised political system, so criminalized political system that we cannot reach the goal because of the political system. But leadership, I don't think right now our leadership problem is not that much acute. I'm sure our leadership is the quality of our leadership is not like Nehru, like Gandhi, or like Jinnah, but we do have leadership. They can rule the country. If you don't have if you do not have enough qualified leadership, should we bring a leader from Harvard? No, leadership should be homegrown. Whatever leadership you have, you have to depend on them. But
Thank you very much, Mr. Haidar. Thank you very much.
thank you.
Dr. Showkat Ali, you
Yes,
listen
sir.
to everyone, especially you listen to political scientist Jogul Haidar. He say, whatever the leader's standard is, doesn't matter. From Bangladesh perspective, leaderships are there. Definitely leadership after Bangladesh model. You cannot have the leadership from America or Europe, no problem. Leadership after Bangladesh model. That is the leadership in Bangladesh. Dr. Showkat Ali, living in America at this very moment, do you feel the leadership in Bangladesh at this very moment are not are so below that they can run the state? Yes, Mr. Shaukat Ali.
All right. I have listened very carefully, Mr. Bobby Hajjaj, his political speech and his expectation of leadership. I have no problem with that. We expect for the best, no problem. Khan gave a very nice analysis with the leadership and all those things. Dr. Haidar also said, my question is, I see the leadership. Of course, I raised the question of the quality of leadership. Number one. Number two, I don't say statesman. Number three, uh, if you are not now, which indicated by Khan, then the question is when. We say generally, then it is the invention, is the necessity, is bringing the invention. All right, 15 years we have beaten up by third class leadership. Now the question is, how long we'll wait for a statesman and a leader with a good quality? I see leader, oh my God. You go Union Council, Upojela, Mr. Hajjaj does this type of thing, go everywhere. I see so many leaders, my God, left, right, on my top. I don't see any quality. I don't see a statesman. So hope for the best, the leader will come. Now, I say one thing. Brother Hajjaj, you wait and see the day after the election. What a leadership you will get after January 7. We have gone through, brother. The famine is coming. Look at this. You ever heard, you live long time in Europe, you ever heard any president or prime minister or a food minister say the famine is coming? Look at this lady. What a leadership. She said famine is coming. Wow. Who is created? The BNP is created. Wow. What is the indication? You see the leadership? You wait after January 7. Well, she said not January, not February, in March. Well, probably. Brother Sinha and I did discuss a couple of weeks ago just a little bit economic formula that because of the inflationary pressure in the United States, the Federal Reserve will increase a 0.25% rate of interest. Wow! You know what will happen in January or February? You have to purchase $1 using 200 taka. You are in the listen, I don't want to give a big lecture. You have no reserve, actually. At the end of the December, maybe it's a 10 billion. If you are lucky, you will have it. You cannot purchase. You cannot open the LLC. You cannot do nothing. Yes, famine is coming. You import it. Remember 6 years ago? In the areas of Pabna, Jasur, Khulna, Kustia, there are abundant surplus production of rice. Why you did not preserve it? Why you are crying now? The famine is coming. Listen, I want to see one thing. In 1973-74, what Amartya Sen said that time about the Bangladeshi famine, it is created by our leadership, created the problem of the distribution. It is created by our man's power, our mankind created this famine. And he said also the same principle in 1950s. Well, 1973-74, we have gone through the crisis. I don't want to go back. This is the reason exactly what happened in 1975. What happened in 1975? It takes 15 minutes to create the whole damn Bangladeshi. But for struggle of our democracy, it takes 15 minutes to make a leader paramount for 100 years, next 100 years. Created a governorship, no political parties, no papers, no democracy, nobody.
Dr. Showkat Ali, you have only 1 minute, please.
Yes,
1 minute.
I will finish it within money. That is the time 1975 came. And you know who came? I am not ignoring the leadership of Bangabandhu. But I said up to 73. After that, what happened? What happened? It's a controversy. We failed our nation in the right path. The spirit of liberation is not there. Then suddenly, President Shahid Rashtrapati, President Ziaur Rahman came, and we are in the field. I said myself, this guy will be killed within 3 weeks. Who will run this damn country is already gone. It's a famine country. But thank God, whether you like it or not, or whether you like his politics or not, I did not like him. I was totally different political system. I was a believer. But thank God he rescued the country. The benefit you are getting in the name of open market economy and the distribution of wealth and the political system and the democratic system, it is created by President Ziaur Rahman. After January 7, I see the same thing. Mr. Bobby Hajjaj will be arrested and put the jeep, no talk. Don't go to sightseeing or talk with Dr. Showkat. You will be abandoned because she need to control the famine. It is there. All BNP will be finished, my friend. And Mr. Sinha will, if he alive, he will call me again, maybe January, end of January, with all the panel at the end of the February. I see this thing happen. So she's right. I disagreed with her political philosophy all along, but I agreed with her forecast and foresightedness. The famine is coming, created by BNP. You know what does it mean, Mr. Bobby Hajjaj? It is mean you created the problem. You opposition created. Hasina does not need you. She does not need you. She does not need Sinha, Bobby Hajjaj, Jaglul Haidari, or Khan, and forget the Dr. Showkat big mouth. Finish them off while he's living in foreign countries and here. No matter, we have a lot of pressure. I know you have pressure, Bobby Hajjaj, but we are under also pressure. Sometimes intelligence people call and check it out to shut it off. Look at how far she reached. Wait, after January 7. Well, she will try to bring the Russian democratic policy, what Bangabandhu did, the centralized economic plan.
Thank you very much, Dr.
Cuban model. No, one second, brother, one second. Cuban model. She will bring China. Oh, of course, pledging democracy of fundamentalism of Indian Modi democratic policy in Bangladesh and finish all the democratic parties who are enjoying at least talking, not creating any movement as talking, it will be finished. That is the reason famine is needed for her to survive. And if it is happened, then I agree. That is the point I agreed with Bobby Hajjaj. After all this turmoil, finish, sacrifice, famine, all these people, then probably a statesman, I will not say leader. Of course, a leader with a statesman, when it is come with a good quality, it is called statesman. Sinha I can say, I will hope and wait for that day. But as of now, I agreed with Air Khan. I don't see any leadership with a good quality. Oh, leader is all everywhere. My God. Nobody respect Bobby Hajjaj. Nobody respect Dr. Sinha. Nobody Jaglu Laida. You go to the Union Council. A commissioner is the leader. I have to stand up. I have to take the selfie of a Upazila chairman. Who is the damn Dr. Showkat talk too much? But I am in charge of Upazila, where he is living. Come, take a selfie with me and show President Biden. I'll be very happy to do that. I'm very sorry saying something sarcastic. But listen, when the Prime Minister said famine is coming, read in between, a danger is coming. And she will be elected. And she will give a big bamboo in terms of everything. Because famine is needed for herself. The way in 1975 Bakshal is created and all the famine is created. That is a dangerous, that is my concern because I'm an economist. I can see her political language is coming behind all the economic analysis. Thank you. I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry. Sinha.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, all
Dr.
viewers.
Sinha, can I give a couple of clarifications very quickly? I'll just take a minute. Can I give a couple of
Yeah.
clarifications? Okay. So first and foremost, when I talked about leadership, I never said leadership isn't important. I said leadership comes on its own. You don't have to search for it. It will come. Second, just like in 1971, nobody was following anybody necessarily. Everybody was fighting for the nation. Similarly, right now, nobody's following this party or that party, and we are not following BNP. We are fighting against the fascism that is bringing the famine. That's a clarification that is required. We are not followers of the BNP or any other party. We are fighting in the coalition that wants to stop this fascism. Once, if we are able to stop this fascism, sarcastically or however Dr. Showkat Ali put it, he also understands that we are in a grand mess and we need to struggle to try and get out of this grand mess. And for that, a big fight is needed. And for the big fight, everybody needs to get together. There are times when you talk about your differences. There are times when you market, you promote your own brand. And then there are times when you just fight for the nation. You don't ask any questions. These are one of those times. You just fight for the nation. You don't ask any more questions. And that's what we're doing right now. And that's what we hope everybody will be doing. Everybody on this panel, honorable economists, honorable political scientists, other political parties, everybody in this country and who loves this country right now. Because the powers that be have already declared in 3 months, they're bringing famine. Whoever they want to blame it on, it's coming. If it's about to come, it's incumbent on anybody who loves this country to fight in this struggle to save this country. Thank you. That's all of the clarification I wanted to give. Thank you so much, Dr. Sinha, for the time you gave us.
Thank you very much. Thank you all. And viewers, we are about to end this session because it was almost about 2 hours, over more than 2 hours, almost 3 hours. And before that, I would like to summarize what the talks took place here. Viewers, we are very much aware of the talks delivered by all the speakers here, and they are of the same mind that Bangladesh is passing through a very critical juncture. And leadership here are not so up to the standard, up to the expectation. If it is a standard leadership in Bangladesh perspective, everybody is happy because it is in Bangladesh perspective. What is Bangladesh perspective? That is very much debacle in the sense of political science and leadership theories. And above all, we believe that days coming in ahead of us are not so frustrated at all because Allah Himself is taking care of Bangladesh. And there is a saying, and I also believe it is a land of 175 million people, and Allah Himself has taken responsibility to take care of this country. There will be no famine, there will be no hardship. There will be no hardship. What will be there? There will be radical change of leadership in Bangladesh. That days are coming, and we hope leadership, political parties, and politics shall move towards the welfare and well-being of the people in the coming days. If not today, must be in the coming days. And thank you very much, you all. And we will invite this very panel after January election, after election of January 7th. And
Yes.
then we will hear from the very mouths what are the next. And
Maybe
thank
end
you
of
very much.
February, side by maybe end of February or beginning of the month.
Okay, whatever it is, I will invite you all the force here, and we'll have the music from your mouth. And thank you very much, you all. Thank you.